Hello everyone, in this lesson I'm gonna show you how to create a wheel burnout using flutes in Maya. So let's get started. Make sure you open the scene called wheel burnout start. When you open the scene, you'll notice here in the outliner I have wheel group, and if you go ahead and play that, you'll notice the wheel is rotating. But the problem is the wheel is too fast, okay? So we need to create another geometry around that called proxy. So I created one which is here, and you'll notice it's low res from the wheel. The reason is I am creating that. Let's say you want to collide the wheel, high res wheel with the flute. The problem is then the simulation will be slower to calculate. And another problem with the high res wheel is too fast. Okay, so in the object is too fast, and then we're gonna get some weird result from the flute colliding with the fast object. Okay, so that's why I created a proxy, and the proxy rotation is a little bit slower than the high res. Okay, so we're gonna use the wheel layer for rendering, and we're gonna use the proxy for the simulation. Okay, I hope you understand why I created that. Okay, so let's create the flute by going to flutes, and let's click on 3D container. And now let's move that up somewhere. Let's go to right view and place it at the bottom. Okay, and now let's go back to the camera, and let's go to attribute editor, and let's go to flute shape, and let's go up, and I'm gonna set the base resolution to 40, and I'm gonna change that to none, and this one to none. I don't want the flute to be collided with the X or Z, and I'm going to set that to negative Y. I'm going to show you why in a moment. So if I scroll down to the auto resize, and here you'll see we have the resize closed boundary. Let's enable the auto resize, and now if I check that off, so now the bottom of the flute will be constrained. Okay, so the bottom of the flute will not be resized, okay, up or down, because we checked that off. Okay, and now let's select the container, and let's go to flutes, and let's go to add and emitter option box. I'm going to leave that to volume. Okay, and click apply, and let's place the volume at the bottom of the flute, and let's hit play. Nothing gonna happen because we need to select that again, and let's go to the basic emitter attribute, and let's increase that a little bit. Maybe you think if we collide the flute with the wheel, then the wheel will rotate the flute around the wheel, right? But this is not gonna work. We need to do one more step. So we need to select the container, and then I'm going to select the wheel proxy. Okay, let's hide the wheel layer, the high res. Okay, so let's select now shift and select the proxy, and now let's go to flutes, and let's click on make motion field. So now as you see we have a motion field attached to the proxy. So if I go ahead and play, as you see the motion field rotating with the wheel. Okay, and you see how nicely the flute is rotating around the wheel. That's exactly what I want. If you make it collide with the proxy, this is not gonna work. Okay, so now let's move on. So let's select the flute, and let's go to attribute editor, and let's scroll down in the dynamic simulation. I'm going to change that to all grids, and let's leave the substeps to 1 for now and emit in substeps. Okay, and let's go to contents details, and in the density I'm going to change the dissipation to 1, or let's set it to 1.5, and let's add a little bit of noise, 0.02. It's enough. And I'm going to change the scale to 1, and let's go to turbulence. I'm going to change that to 0.1 and let's give it a try and see. Another thing, you'll notice the field is rotating all the fluids, okay, around it. I want some fluids coming here from this direction, okay. So we can do that by selecting the fluid, and let's go to fields and solvers, and let's go to uniform, and I'm going to change that, let's say, to 50. I think 50 is too strong. Let's set it to 15, and let's see. And I want to change that to 1. Okay, no, it's 1, sorry. It's 1 on X. Okay. And let's make a couple of changes on the field itself, okay? So I'm going to change the magnitude to 50 and the attenuation to 0.5. And if you come over here, you'll see we have the volume control attributes. You can change the shape of that. You can leave it at sphere. I'm going to change that to cylinder, and I'm going to rotate that 90 degree, okay? And let's set that to 7.33 because I want to make the scales uniform, and I think it's too big, so let's scale it to 4 by 4 and by 4, okay. And now let's hit play. We don't see too much change here, and you'll see now I have some smoke coming here, okay, in this direction. Okay, we need to do another thing. Let's stop that. Let's go to fluid, and then let's go to substeps and increase that to 2, and this one emit in substeps. Let's give it a try, and you see we fixed that problem. We don't see the dots anymore. Okay, let's go to fluid emitter, and let's go back here, and I'm going to change the fluid drop off to 0 to emit more fluids. And another thing I want to do here, if I come and scroll down in the speed method, so let's set that to add, and I'm going to change the directional speed, for example, to 10 to push the fluid a little bit more on X. As you see, the direction is set to X, okay. I think I'm going to change that a little bit more. Let's set to 200. Okay. And let's add a little bit of damp. I want to slow down the smoke a little bit over the time. So let's set the damp to 0.05 and let's give it a try. Okay, great. So let's scroll down to the lighting and let's enable the self shadow. I think the result is pretty good now. And another thing, because we have the fluid moving very fast, we maybe get some weird stuff going here, okay. So as you see, the fluid is colliding with the wall, and we can fix that by increasing the auto resize margin to 5 to give it some space, okay. And let's go to channel box, and let's go to wheel layer to show that, to see the high res. As you see now, we are using the high res to visualize, okay. Okay, so let's hide the container from the viewport so we can see it better. Let's go to display, and then let's go to boundary draw, and let's change that to none so we can see just the wheel and the smoke. And I'm going to hide the emitter too, and the motion fill tool and the uniform fill tool. Okay, and I'm going to cache the file. Let's go to ncache and then Maya fluid, and let's name it burn out test, and let's click on create. Okay, I cached it till the frame 150, so let's set that to 150 and 150. I think that's enough time, and let's right click here and create a play blast for that image, and let's set that to Maya, and let's hit play blast. Okay, the play blast is finished. As you see, we have a really nice result. If you want to emit a little bit more smoke, you can just increase the size of the emitter that we created, okay, and that will emit more smoke. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next lesson.